let's go to Steppenwolf, right? Because Steppenwolf's another one that has not gotten a lot of love in the
Funkle Steppenwolf. Like, I feel like this guy got a bad rap as being kind of a bitch. You know, and I mean, I think it was partly due to how he was written in the movie, quite frankly. And I think the upgraded graphics and realization of how Zack Snyder wanted him to look helped him quite a bit. Don't get me wrong. But here, look, like, I feel like, and I don't know the complete backstory of Steppenwolf, but it feels like he's always trying to gain Darkseid's approval for some reason.
So and again, I just, because of how long we're running on time, I don't have time to go into a lot of it, but he wronged Darkseid, so he's basically, this is his penance. Him being the leader of he basically is the leader of the parademons. All right, that's why in the Justice League, when you see him come down, he, like, all the parademons are going after him. They know they're going after fear. They sense and smell, and he's leading the parademons. Right, Darkseid's uncle. He, again, still, he's a new god, even though he's Darkseid's uncle and all of this, and we see him kind of back with the old gods of like Zeus and such. They are still technically considered the new gods. Mainly now in the animated series, we see Steppenwolf with a sword, and he's kind of got a more V for Vendetta vibe about him. Look about him, red eyes, all that. Whereas when we see him in Justice League, he has the big axe. The Electro axe is also, he has seen, or he's been with in the comics and the animated series.
And then, of course, like a dinosaur too. Not gonna lie,
a little bit. Something you saw on Ark, right? And you put a little fucking mask on him. And then he has the cable snare, which we have seen. You didn't get to see it in the live action in Superman, the animated series, in Apocalypse Now Part 2. The slowest moving fucking snare somehow manages to capture Superman. He watched it come at him as moving 10 mile an hour, somehow captured Superman, but we're not going to go on to that. So, I'm trying to think of the actor who actually voiced him, and I can't pronounce his name. You're going to have to help me with that. I can't pronounce his name, who voiced him in the actual Justice League movie. Sherman Howard did the animated series with Steppenwolf.
Harry and Hines.
We're gonna go with that. All right. So here's the thing with Steppenwolf. All right. He looked better in the Snyder Cut, as Mantis was just talking about. You see his armor look better. Everything looks better about him. But I feel like the Snyder Cut really makes him look like more of a bitch, because he gets manhandled, even by the other members of the Justice League. But when Superman comes in, it's game over. And then, of course, he gets his head chopped off. He gets his horn burned off and all this other stuff. Dude, it's been out for so fucking long. I'm not even going to say it at this point.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think he got, because in the original Justice League, he was fucking the rest of the Justice League up until Superman gets there, right? I feel like in the Snyder Cut, they're all holding their own pretty decent.
A little, yeah.
Now,
they weren't putting it to him, and they weren't, like, I feel like this is where kind of, I guess, this is kind of a tangent, a little 2-second tangent. I feel like he should have been more pushing their shit in like he did in the original. Not in the Snyder Cut, but in the original Joss Whedon, like you said, like, because then it makes more impact when Superman comes in and fucks his shit up, right?
Well, it's that mini boss thing we were talking about at the very beginning, right? Like, they should be struggling, and then, okay, here's this defeat. Now, I will say this, in the animated series, going back to 2 different episodes in the animated series. So the original appearance of Steppenwolf in the animated series, we see him in Apocalypse Now Part 2. He gets sent by Darkseid because Kalibak wants to go fight Superman, but Darkseid already knows how that happens because of the Father's Day episode. So he sends Steppenwolf, right? So Steppenwolf goes in there. He brings a bunch of parademons. Again, he's got the sword. He's on his hover bike. He calls down some stuff. He and Superman actually never have an interaction, like, themselves. So in the episode, like, he calls the parademons down, and Superman's struggling with the parademons because it's hilarious because he struggles with them, and then the next episode he's whooping their asses by 30 at a time. But that's how it does, right? That's the boss fight, right? Yeah. The mini boss fights, it sucks so bad, but then when you get to the final boss, you're like, oh, dude, he was easy. So Steppenwolf actually gets taken down in the animated series by a police helicopter, which I don't know too many police helicopters that have missiles on them. But in the animated series, Dan Turpin is flying. Inspector Dan Turpin is flying in the helicopter, and he shoots twice, 2 different times. But the second time, he fires missiles at him, and Steppenwolf jumps off, and it blows up his hover bike, and we don't see Steppenwolf again. Now, in the Justice League Unlimited series, or Justice League series, we see Steppenwolf where basically they go into a territory that would violate the treaty with New Genesis, and Orion and them are coming. So Steppenwolf says, hey, like, we're in this territory. He said his fleet is getting decimated. Only his flagship withstands. And Darkseid says, you've been a good warrior. Take as many of them with you as you can when you go. Knowing he just sent Steppenwolf to death. Orion, they kill Steppenwolf, and now all of Darkseid's court comes back multiple times throughout. He's able to resurrect him. But Orion kills Steppenwolf, and he takes his flagship, sends it through a boom tube onto Apocalypse, and fucks up Darkseid, his chamber, his palace, and everything like that. Because Darkseid's bleeding and everything like that. But those are really the only 2 times you've really seen him in the animated. So Steppenwolf has never really gotten, in either the movies or the animated series, he's never really gotten a great ending.
Yeah, and maybe that's just the story of Steppenwolf. Maybe it's just unfortunate for Uncle Steffi that he's gonna end up in the shit no matter what. And unfortunately for him, again, that's what happens when if you go after the king, you better get him. What
was the phrase? Like, if you're gonna shoot at the king, make sure you can kill him.
If you're going to shoot the king, you better be goddamn sure you kill him.
Something like that.
I forget what it is. I'll find it because
I'll have it posted there. Now, real quick, we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna go through these next few really, really quickly because, again, just didn't have time. I wasn't expecting for this video to run as long as it is, but you guys know us. It's just such exciting to talk about. The next one is my favorite to talk about because it is Mantis. Not to be confused with our Mantis Toboggan over here. So Mantis has never been seen in live action, right? He's only been seen in the Justice League Unlimited series. Voiced by J.K. Simmons, though.
That's a good... Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah. So, obviously, the super strength, durability, he's able to glide with his suit, and then he has the energy blast coming from his hands. There is a point in the... And it's kind of weird. So, the Superman the Animated Series, the Justice League series, and then this Justice League Unlimited series all kind of tie together. Sometimes not, but for the most part, they tie together. Other than like Tim Daly, all that, most of the actors like Michael Ironside voices Darkseid throughout all 3 series. They're pretty well tied together, right? So there is a point in the series where Darkseid is actually killed. That starts the Apocalypse Civil War, right? Where there was factions, right? And a lot of people, including Mantis, sided against Granny Goodness and her team. And the female Furies and all of them, which would include you had Mantis, you had I'm trying to think of what his name is, Virman. I think it's Virman because it's VIR. Virman Vundabar.
Yeah.
They all side against Granny Goodness, and they all go to battle them. And that starts the whole apocalyptic war until Darkseid is resurrected. Now, in the animated series, in the Justice League Unlimited series, basically the way they play it is Lex Luthor is trying to resurrect Brainiac, and he ends up resurrecting Darkseid, and that leads to
what a colossal fuck up.
That leads to one of my favorite, the ending, the last 2 episodes of the Justice League Unlimited series is my favorite. The battle between Darkseid and Superman is amazing, but Mantis. Both Mantises team up with Virman Vundabar against Granny Goodness. Now, what that is going to lead us
into... This motherfucker looks like Kim Jong-un mixed with the fucking peanut guy. Not going to lie.
Now, I don't know how to respond to that, guys. I really don't. So another one that we see in the same thing, that it also sides with Virman Vundabar, is Kanto. Now, Kanto kind of looks like a Robin Hood-esque, very like out of time frame.
If this was a video game, he'd be a bard.
Yeah, thank you. Bard. Now, we do see Kanto is different because we do see him in the animated series. He is the one that is giving apocalyptic weapons in Superman the animated series to Gang as well as and Bruno Mannheim, right? Because the hope is that he wanted to see how they would do, and he was hoping that with the apocalyptic weapons they would be able to kill Superman. Ends up not being the case. Civil War breaks up. He sides with Mantis and Virman Vundabar against Granny Goodness. However, again, all of them same situation. Once Darkseid's resurrected, everybody re-pledges allegiance.
Everyone knows who Daddy is.
Yes.
Everyone knows who Daddy is.
Kanto is the one that, yes, we've seen him with some superhuman abilities as far as durability, but we never really get to see any other abilities. Kind of a very flamboyant character. Got the swords, but we don't actually really ever get to see him with a lot of like abilities, right? He's not shown. Now, Virman Vundabar. We do get to see, the only time we've ever gotten to see him in the animated series is in the Justice League Unlimited series. He is one of Darkseid's highest ranking lieutenants, right? So during the Civil War, he is the one that's trying to seize power, right? He is trying to seize control of Apocalypse.
That rodent Vundabar thinks he can rule Apocalypse in Darkseid's stead.
He kidnaps Kalibak in an attempt to brainwash him to turn him against Granny Goodness and her followers, because, again, Kalibak is the strongest of all of Darkseid's minions as far as brute physicality, right?
He's a pawn to use, yeah.
Yeah, and he's not the most intelligent. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, right? So,
yeah.
Same situation. They're going to battle Granny Goodness. Darkseid comes back. Everybody shuts the fuck up, and basically, hey, we're all Team Darkseid. So
Daddy's back in town. Everyone falls in line. It again kind of, it's interesting because there's so many cool backstories here, and again, you get a little taste of them in the animated series, but there's so much room for activities here. I feel like if James Gunn wanted to, he could explore a lot of these characters, and not just in the animated stuff. Like, some of them would be kind of difficult to bring to live action. It is difficult to do some of these characters that way, as we've seen in the Smallville series. However, with a bigger budget, that type of stuff, I feel like they could do a lot of these characters and make it well, or make it look good. Because again, with the Snyder Cut, we see some of these, even Granny Goodness, although she kind of looks human and kind of out of place to an extent, as opposed to Darkseid or Darkseid, and even Uncle there, or Funkle there. Like, it's like, yeah, like it's kind of off, but again, I still think it works to an extent, and I think if they wanted to, they could do that in any extent they want. Because again, and I know you're gonna try and wrap some of this up here. I'm gonna jump ahead of you because, as I said previously when we started this video, the DC has the best villains, even the best mini boss villains, even the lowerlings that are little bitches and fall in line when old boy comes back. Like, even they're good. Like, I feel like there's so much room for James Gunn to expand on these characters, and hopefully he does it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm going to say this because I'm trying to wrap this up, guys. I apologize. I know, obviously this was through the comments, was requested that we do this. I hope we were able to answer, or we were able to discuss a lot of what you wanted. If not, let me know down in the comments. Again, because at least the timer I've got, I'm going to shorten it down through some editing, but we're already over 40 fucking minutes, right? As I'm trying to keep these. That's why I didn't bring the comics into it. This is just animated and live action. If you want more information, especially on particular characters, let me know down in the comments. I would be happy. We are trying to bring an informational series of a lot of characters we're talking about, where it is very, very concise. It is just information driven, to where we can get out, because there's just so much between the comics, live action, animated, and all the characters being retconned between New 52, Rebirth, all these things that happen. There's so much to tell. We can go into so much more detail. So let us know. My Superman 78, you were the one that had requested that. We do appreciate you continuing to support the channel and mention ideas on things you'd like to see. We are always here for you guys. Let us know if this was what you were looking for. If you want more detail, or any of you watching want more detail on particular characters, man, motherfucker, let me know. We can do that as well too. So, but in the interest of not making this a feature length movie, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it. Because, like Mantis said, great villains, great characters. There's so much story, and there's so much written that give these characters so much volume and depth that it's so hard to try to compact this, because we have done it. Mantis and I have done it off camera. We have been on Discord talking for hours about these things, right? Just a casual flow. It's what happens because we love this material, guys, and we hope you do too. And we hope you have loved this video. If you have, consider giving it a like. This Mantis, not the crazy Mantis, is going to show you where. At his crotch.
Yes.
Subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any of the others, especially the informational series. Give it the like, because it helps out the channel a lot, because we do this for you guys. And as well, comment and let us know down below, because as you have seen, we've done several videos now of videos requested by people who comment in. They say, hey, love to see this. We will do it. We are here for you guys.
We are a channel of the people. Yes. Let us know. We listen. You know, we do read, like I know you're going to say, we read every comment. We do. We may not respond to every comment, but we read every comment. But, you know, the interaction was like, you know, you always say, is what keeps us going. It's what we're here for.
So there's some things that I'm like, dude, we could, and Mantis has even said, well, we could do a video. Oh, nobody's going to like that. And then somebody comments and says, like, oh, wait, somebody would like that, right? So we'll do it, right? You know, like we need other ways of thinking. People like, hey, what about doing a video on this? Because I would love to know more about this. And maybe there are others out there. And the only way we're going to know that is if you comment and let us know.
The more you know.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's knowing's half the battle.
This was more of a
Magic.
If you're more, if you're interested, click here. I think it was like I'm thinking.
You're thinking Starship Troopers. Would you like to know more?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we're going off on tangents, guys. So, Mantis, do you have anything else that's not Starship Troopers related? All right, he's done. He's wiping his hands clean. Guys, I apologize. This is a little bit longer of a video than I wanted to do, but it's just so good. It's going to wrap it, though, for us here on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, we will see you then.
Later.